Okay, so now we are going to look at Lesson B, conditionals. So go ahead and open your book to page 112. 112. Okay, so let's watch the grammar lesson. Oops.
Conditionals. Unit 9, Lesson B. Present unreal. Watch and listen. Use the present unreal conditional to talk about what would happen in an imaginary, not real situation. Use if with a verb in the past tense in the clause that describes the imaginary situation. Use would with the base form of the verb in the results clause. Imaginary situation.
If everybody drove smaller cars,
Results clause.
we would use less gasoline.
Results clause.
We would use less gasoline
Imaginary situation.
if everybody drove smaller cars.
If she used energy-efficient light bulbs, she would save electricity.
She would save electricity if she used energy-efficient light bulbs.
If you fixed faucet leaks immediately, you would waste less water.
You would waste less water if you fixed faucet leaks immediately.
If we all walked to work, we would reduce pollution.
We would reduce pollution if we all walked to work.
If all the customers brought their own coffee cups, it would create less waste.
It would create less waste if all the customers brought their own coffee cups.
Check your understanding. Look at the picture. Then complete the two sentences about a present, unreal situation. Now listen to the sentences.
If she used energy-efficient light bulbs, she would save electricity.
She would save electricity if she used energy-efficient light bulbs.
Look at the picture. Then complete the two sentences about a present, unreal situation. Now listen to the sentences.
If you fixed faucet leaks immediately, you would waste less water.
You would waste less water if you fixed faucet leaks immediately.
Look at the picture. Then complete the two sentences about a present, unreal situation. Now listen to the sentences.
If we all walked to work, we would reduce pollution.
We would reduce pollution if we all walked to work.
Look at the picture. Then complete the two sentences about a present, unreal situation. Now listen to the sentences.
If all the customers brought their own coffee cups, it would create less waste.
It would create less waste if all the customers brought their own coffee cups.
Let's review.
If everybody drove smaller cars, we would use less gasoline.
If she used energy-efficient light bulbs, she would save electricity.
We would use less gasoline if everybody drove smaller cars.
She would save electricity if she used energy-efficient light bulbs.
Okay, So let's look at our book again. And I want to make a quick comment about using be verbs. So if you notice in these sentences, the imaginary situation uses action verbs. So if everybody drove smaller cars, or if she used energy efficient light bulbs, so these are action verbs, drive and use. So that's why we use the use if with the verb in past tense. So drove and used in the clause that describes the imaginary situation. Now, when you use a be verb, we always use the form were. So for example, if I were an animal, I would be a tiger. Again, if I were an animal, I would be a tiger. So it doesn't matter what person it is. I, he, she, it, doesn't matter. We always use were if it's a be verb. So another example is, if he were here, he would help us. If he were here, he would help us. So we don't say if he was here, he would help us. So keep in mind that when we use be verbs, we have to use were in the imaginary situation. And if we use action verbs, then we use the action verb in the past tense. So everything is past tense in the if clause, but for the be verbs, we use were, and for action verbs, we use the action verb in past tense. Okay, but let me make another quick comment. So keep in mind that these are for present unreal situations. So in the case that there was a possibility that it was a real situation, meaning it actually did happen, then of course we don't use were. So for example, if I was rude to you, I apologize. Okay, so in that case, it's possible that I was really rude to you. I was actually rude to you. So it's not unreal. It's possibly real. So in that case, we don't use were. We use was. So again, if I was rude to you earlier, I apologize. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Excuse me. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at exercise 2, practice. So go ahead and take some time to complete this activity. Complete the sentences and, of course, use the present unreal conditional. So you're not going to use were in this situation. In this activity, I think everything is an action verb, so you don't have to worry about using were. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video, and when you're finished, you can continue. Okay, so let me go ahead and play the audio.
Page 112, Exercise 2A. 1.
Many people put their newspapers in the trash can. If everybody recycled newspapers, we would save millions of trees.
2.
Noah never takes his car in for a tune-up. Noah's car would use less gas if he tuned up his car regularly.
3.
Mr. Brown drives his own car to his job downtown. Mr. Brown would save money on gas if he carpooled to work.
4.
Many items in the supermarket are packaged in plastic. If you bought products that are packaged with recycled paper, You would help to reduce global warming.
5.
Jessica always stays in the shower for a very long time. If Jessica took shorter showers, she would save water.
6.
Some kinds of fish contain large amounts of lead, a poisonous metal. You would be healthier if you stopped eating fish that contains lead.
7.
Energy-efficient appliances use less electricity. If May's family bought a new washing machine, they would save money on their electric bill.
8.
Christina never puts enough air in her tires. If Christina put more air in her tires, she would buy less gasoline.
Okay. So I hope that was easy. Now, just a quick note as well. Keep in mind that phrases like this, like phrasal verbs, the past tense would be in the first word, of course. So tuned up, okay? Worked out. Okay, let's see. I think those are all the notes I wanted to make. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next page. Okay, so it says, talk with a partner. Match each action with a result. Some items have more than one correct answer. Use the present unreal conditional. Okay, so let's look at the example. If everybody bought energy-efficient appliances, we would save electricity. Okay, so we used this one, and then we used this result. Okay, so go ahead and take some time to make sentences, and keep in mind that you can you might have more than one correct answer. And also, when you make the sentences, you can put the if clause at the beginning or at the end. Okay, so again, we could say, we would save electricity if everybody bought energy-efficient appliances. Okay, so you can pause the video and continue when you're finished. Okay, so let's look at the second one. We could say, if everybody fixed water leaks, we would save water. Okay, or we would save water if everybody fixed water leaks. And then let's look at the next one. If everybody replaced light bulbs with energy efficient ones, we would cut down on energy use. But of course, we could also use we would save electricity. So these two, cut down on energy use and save electricity, they both work for this one by energy efficient appliances and for replace light bulbs with energy efficient ones. So either answer is okay. Okay, and then let's look at the next action. If everybody recycled cans, bottles, glass, and paper, we would reduce the amount of trash in landfills. Okay, and then if everybody put enough air in their tires, we would save gas. We would save gas. And then finally, if everybody closed off unused rooms, we would reduce air conditioning and heating use. Okay, so again, we would reduce air conditioning and heating use if everybody closed off unused rooms. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the last activity, communicate. So look at the picture of the beach. Talk about actions people could take to help the environment. Okay, now let me make one more comment about the results clause. So we always use would for the results clause. Again, like we would save electricity for this lesson, but it's also possible to use could, should, and might. So in those cases, we use could for when we want to express ability, like can. And then we use might for possibility, and then should for something that's good for us to do or recommended. So let me look for a quick example for you. I actually pulled it up already, but for example, if I went to Egypt, I could learn Arabic. So it's a possibility, and it's something that you want, that you have the ability to do because you are in Egypt. So in that case, it's better to use could than would. Of course, it still makes sense. You could still say, if I went to Egypt, I would learn Arabic. But that shows more of a willingness, and could shows more of a possibility. And then we could also say, if she had time, she might go to the party. So this is just, maybe yes, maybe no. So she might, possibility. Okay, and then if he invited you, you really should go. So in this case, it's a recommendation. So could, should, and might we still use for ability, possibility, and recommendations. But for would, we use it for situations that result if we do the imaginary situation. I'm sorry if that's confusing, but would either shows a willingness or the likely result if the imaginary clause is done. Okay, so again, if, as an example, if everybody bought energy efficient appliances, meaning if everybody did this imaginary situation, then this would likely result. We would save electricity. Okay, so of course we wouldn't use might save electricity or should save electricity, because it doesn't really make sense in this context. So we would save electricity. Okay, so go ahead and take some time to make sentences about this picture. So you can pause the video and continue when you're finished. Okay, so I'm just going to mention a few sentences you could make. So let's see. Of course, this example sentence is talking about this situation. Now let me make a sentence about this situation. So if everybody walked to the beach, there would be less pollution. Okay, as you can see, there's smoke coming out of this car. So again, we could say, if everybody walked to the beach, or you could also add instead of driving. So if everybody walked to the beach instead of driving, there would be less pollution. Okay, we could also say, if everybody brought their own cups. So you can see these disposable one-time use cups. So if everybody bought their own reusable cups, there would be less trash. So if everybody brought their own reusable cups, there would be less trash. Okay, and then let me do one more. If everybody took quick showers, we would use less water, or we would save water. So if everybody took quick showers, we would save water. Okay, so go ahead and go to part 3 of the video, part 3.